this announcement at this time. We welcome the Governor and Lieutenant Governor and his staff to the Utah Public Employees Association office. I'd like to make a short statement, and then we'll ask questions or allow the Governor and the Lieutenant Governor to speak. The Utah Public Employees Association is announcing our endorsement at this time of Governor Herbert and Lieutenant Governor Bell. The Utah Public Employees Association is Utah's largest representative of public employees. We were founded in 1959. The Utah Public Employees Association has a history of selecting and endorsing political candidates based upon their willingness to work with public employees. Governor Herbert has demonstrated that willingness as he sits as 2010's governor in Utah. He has worked with the Public Employees Association and with our members. He's been willing to have an open door policy. He's willing to sit with us and talk about issues that involve public employees. The association's Citizens by Action by Political or Public Employees, or CAPE, is a committee that voted to endorse Governor Herbert after interviewing both candidates. Both candidates are well qualified to be governor. But Governor Herbert has demonstrated once again his desire to work with public employees and to maintain a qualified, highly skilled state workforce. State employees have already benefited from the governor's approach to managing employees and managing the state government as he does. We're honored to be able to endorse him. We look forward to working with Governor Herbert and Governor Bell in the future, and this time we'll put the governor on that.
Well, thank you, Jeff, and to all the members of the board and the Political Action Committee. Speaking on behalf of Lieutenant Governor Greg Bell and myself, we're honored to have the endorsement. We're humbled at the opportunity we have to work with you and recognize the challenges that we have going forward here in the state as we're coming out of this economic downturn and moving forward in the state. So we appreciate the work of the Public Employees Association and the public employees that are doing such a wonderful job on behalf of the people of Utah. Jeff mentioned that UPEA has been around since 1959, and they have been the voice for the public employees throughout the state since that time. They've been a strong voice. They've been a reasoned voice. They've been a voice that's been welcomed by other administrations and speaking on behalf of the public employees of the state. So it's not only a strong voice, but it's a valued voice. And so I appreciate the Utah Public Employees Association for what they stand for and what they've done on behalf of the people of Utah. UPEA has always strived to have the highest standards for the public employees, recognizing that we're only as good as the labor force, whether it's in the private sector or whether it's in the public sector. It's the labor force that really does most of the work and that gets things done. So I appreciate that UPEA has always strived to have a strong labor force that's responsive to the needs of the community and providing, I think, the technical training and aspects and support necessary. They also understand the importance of having a viable program that allows for us to attract people to the public sector. It's not just a matter of attracting people, it's also retaining them here. And for the taxpayers' benefits, long term, we need to have not just a revolving door of people that come into public service, but people that make it a career, that come here and in fact can find satisfaction in their service in a public employment atmosphere. So the UPEA has promoted that in a significant way. I think that their ability to communicate with the taxpayer so that the employees are understood, that they are treated with respect, and there's an understanding of the significant value that comes with a public employee for the taxpayers. We in Utah tend to believe in more limited government. I certainly, as a Republican, believe in a more limited government. But what I believe in, that government we should have should be darn efficient and darn effective. that really is a reflection of, in fact, the production of the labor force. And so that's a value that UPEA and I and Lieutenant Governor Greg Bell share. Government has a role, but by golly, what role it plays ought to be effective and efficient in maximizing the taxpayers' dollars. Now, I know that everybody here knows this, that Utah has been recognized as one of the best managed states in America. We are at the top of the list. The Pew Foundation has recognized us as #1. We're being receiving national accolades in many different forums. We had some recognition that just came out Monday from the Business Relocation Facilities magazine and Business Facilities magazine, and it was interesting. I'll just quote what Jack Rogers said, and he said this about Utah: across all of our key ranking categories, Utah clearly exhibited the most dramatic improvement of any state in the nation. And he goes on to say in this press release, the combination of superior quality of life, first-class education system, and one of the best business climates in the U.S. has moved Utah into the front ranks of economic development leaders. I'm here to tell you that one of the reasons we are successful, one of the reasons we're recognized as the best managed state, has to do with our employees. We have got good, quality, capable employees that work for state government and other governments throughout this state and the public sector. I would conclude by saying Utah's public employees are a valued resource and a tremendous asset to the state's economic well-being. They are one of the primary reasons Utah is consistently rated as one of the best managed states in the country. And Greg and I are honored to have earned the endorsement of the Utah Public Employees Association today. So thank you, Jeff. We appreciate that very much.
Okay.
I second what the governor said and want to say also that there are many educated professionals in our employee corps: biologists, engineers, accountants, lawyers, professionals of many strains, but all our employees have had to do more with less. The employees have not had a raise in the last 2 years. We've asked them to pay more towards their health insurance. There's been pension reform in the last 2 or 3 years. We're all grateful for jobs, but still the employees have been asked to sacrifice, as people in the private sector are doing as well. Typical of the governor's approach is we finished last year with a bit of a downturn and fewer funds than we expected. Instead of laying people off, the governor came forward with the executive order for furlough, sparing jobs. But we've seen through attrition the number of state employees go down, and so our employees are stepping up. They're doing more with less. We very much appreciate what they are and who they are and what they do.
Okay, we'll open the field for questions.
Jeff, recently the governor instituted an investigation into state employees at the department. It ended up at the Department of Workforce Services for what turned out to be a database breach. Are you comfortable as an organization with the way that investigation into employee actions was handled? Did that factor at all into your decision?
I am, and I think it did. Governor Herbert is very fair with public employees. He's also very concerned about keeping the security that we need in our files in the state level government. And he directed the Department of Public Safety and the Attorney General's office, I believe it was, to run that investigation. And I'm very comfortable with what they've done.
You don't think that reflected badly on state employees overall, the way it was handled? Or was it handled in a way that didn't?
I think it was handled in a manner that actually shined a light of positive attitude and a positive investigation. The public employees are are under scrutiny constantly, if you will, by the media and by the citizens of our state. And they all strive to do what's right. And I think that Governor Herbert took the right steps, and the employees that were involved in that have been dealt with in a manner that was appropriate.
Governor, do you want to speak at all to how that investigation reflects on state employees overall?
Well, I think, as I've used the phrase before, I think these were a couple, at least as we know two, involved now, rogue employees. I don't think they reflect at all upon the employees we have working for in public service for the taxpayers in the state government. I think 99.9% of the state government workers are good people trying to do the best they can, putting in an honest day's pay for an honest day's work. These are rogue employees happen to be just, I think their frustration levels got the best of them, and they did something that was inappropriate and probably illegal. But that should not have any reflection on the rest of the employees. People make mistakes, that happens in life. We would not want to broad brush the employees with the inappropriate actions of a couple.
Is there any campaign contribution that comes along with the endorsement from the UPEA?
There is.
And what would that be?
Curious to know this.
The dollar amount has not been decided by the committee at this time, but there will be a contribution to the campaign for the governor.
Well, let me thank you in advance.
One of the other things that we do in the Public Employees Association when we endorse a candidate is we try to help them with their grassroots, feet on the ground campaign process to get their campaign word out and help them as possible can.
When's the last time you endorsed a Republican candidate?
I don't have that with me right now.
That long ago?
Pay committee is consists of a diverse group. There's both Republicans and Democrats, and I believe one or two non-affiliated people on that committee. We don't make endorsements based on political affiliation. Our endorsements are made by a set of questions that are asked in response by the candidate to those questions.
What separated then Governor Herbert specifically from Mayor Caroon in terms of those answers? What did you hear that you really liked, and what did the other candidate not tell you that you wanted to hear?
Both candidates gave very good answers to the questions that were asked. Governor Herbert, however, expanded on public employees and the need for a qualified public employee workforce, and his desire to work with that workforce and work with the Public Employees Association to make sure that we maintain that quality.
It was 1992 was the last time the Republican was endorsed.
I'm Max Salazzi with the retired public employees district. I worked for 32 years with the state. I want you to remember the retirees as well as the regular workforce you have. And so we're always concerned about the funds that we know that's taken a big hit and lost a lot of money with the funds. But we do want to say that we do endorse you, and we really appreciate what you, the governor and staff have done for the retirees as well as the public employees. So
I noticed that's ticked up very appreciably in the fund. The gap is really closed.
Yeah, the recovery is real.
well, that's been good.
Greg and I do have an appreciation for public employees, better than probably some, because we've been around them. As a former city councilman and mayor, me as a county commissioner and lieutenant governor, now governor, we recognize the valuable contribution that public employees make to government service and to our quality of life. It is really a truism that we're best managed because our employees manage the taxpayers' dollars and get good value out of our employees. And UPEA is a big part of that, making it happen. What I've appreciated about UPEA is that as they look and have to be the voice of the employees, they also, though, have been able to look at it from the standpoint of what's in the best interest of the people of Utah, the taxpayers, what's in the best interest of the private community, the business community, what is in the best interest of providing good, capable, qualified service, and what is in the best interest of the employee. Now, that's a hard thing to bring all together because they sometimes seem to be competing interests. But UPEA has been able to balance that in an appropriate fashion that I think reflects the needs of the taxpayer in a way that helps us become well managed. So that really is a very valuable asset and contribution that UPEA makes. We certainly honor those who've served and made a career and now retired. We've had to make some tough choices. You know, part of the governance and part of leadership is making some difficult decisions. Sometimes they're not always popular. And then as we've had to change and make some directions on the benefit package in the retirement system, you know, to protect you so that new ones coming into the system don't bankrupt it. I can tell you, other governors are saying we wish we had the same kind of courage in our states to make the tough decision rather than a political decision that you're making in Utah. So we appreciate the support of the retired public employees to help us get it right in behalf of the people of Utah, particularly the taxpayers who really are paying all of our salaries and our retirement too. Thank you.
Okay, that will conclude our announcement. We appreciate those that are here coming to witness it. And appreciate the governor and lieutenant governor for taking time out of their schedule.
Thank you very much. Thank you.